Hello, my students. It's Mr. Weaver. I'm going to give you a screencast where I go over some of the basic vocal terms that you are going to need to know for my class. These are simple. You use them in ComCom. It's a review, so I'm going to go through them quickly because most of you have had ComCom. However, if you haven't or if you have forgotten these, be sure to study them because you're going to have a quiz over these tomorrow. So make sure that you actually know what these are. It will be a multiple choice quiz, a matching quiz actually, so it should not be overly difficult. Let's start with volume. Volume is just how loud you are when you're speaking. I can be really loud or I can be very soft. So that is the volume, just like on a turn dial. Of course, you guys don't use those anymore. Just like you slide going up and down on your MP3 players. That is the volume. Your degree of loudness. Next, we have projection. By the way, I'm going to give you this PowerPoint presentation so you can go through it and practice. To project means how far your voice is going to travel. So some of you remember Mr. Loomis. He had a great projecting voice. When he spoke, it went all the way down the hallway. Some people, they can be almost yelling, like my wife, and you can barely hear them. So their projection does not go as far. It doesn't travel as far, and a lot of that has to do with the resonance in the voice. The next one is articulation. Articulation is the formation of clear and distinct sounds. So a lot of people say, well, I just went to the store. It should be, I just went to the store. A lot of people do not pronounce the D at the end of a word. So those are articulation issues. The next thing we're going to talk about is inflection. That is how low and how high your pitch of your voice goes as you are speaking. The modulation, that means going up and down in the pitch. You obviously have some natural modulations in your pitch, some natural inflection on certain words, and then others you want to inflect in certain ways to communicate different things. But that is what inflection is. The next thing is enunciation. That's just correctly, or clearly, I should say, clearly saying your words. Sorry, correctly is pronunciation. Enunciation is how clearly you say it. Obviously, articulation and enunciation are very important. They go hand in hand. So just remember that enunciation is how clear it is, and articulation, if I go back a few slides, is how distinct and how clear the sound is. Is it a distinct sound? Instead of a duh, it's a d at the end of a word, where enunciation is just doing it clearly. And then the next thing we're going to do is pronunciation. That is that you say the word correctly. Okay? And I have nuclear versus nuclear. Some people pronounced nuclear and they say nuclear, and it's just pronounced incorrectly. And there are several words that we do that. My daughter says biscotti instead of spaghetti. So that would be a pronunciation issue. Next is vocal fillers. I'm trying not to use too many of those in this presentation. I pause between what I have to say and what I have to say next. And in so doing, you stay with me because you naturally give the speaker the benefit of the doubt that what he is about to say I can wait to hear. It also gives you time to register what was just spoken. But if you are using a bunch of vocal fillers, it shows an insecurity in your speaking because you don't want to lose your audience. That's the natural thing that people do. We'll talk more about that, and we will have some exercises to help you avoid vocal fillers. So these are the meaningless sounds between your words or sentences. They don't have to be meaningless. They can be words that mean something. You're just using them incorrectly, like the word like that people use a lot. Next is your rate. That's just how fast you speak, the speed at which you speak. I'm speaking relatively quickly because I don't want this screencast to be especially long, and then I'll lose your attention. But when it comes to speaking in front of people, you want to slow down. You always need to slow down because you're nervous and you speed up and then you lose your audience. Stance. This is how you stand. I can't show this in a screencast, but I will go over ways to stand to have good posture. And then finally, gestures is using your hands purposefully in a speech. I'll show you where to put your hands when you are speaking in a public speaking setting. Obviously, that would be different when you are doing acting. And then finally, Not finally. Eye contact is looking directly at your audience. When I'm doing a video, you want to look directly at the camera. A lot of you saw in the Flipgrids that you were not looking at the camera, and so you didn't feel as engaged with your speaker. Look directly at the camera. It will feel weird at first, but you will get used to it. Finally, it's poise. Poise, it says the dignity of manner. You all are dignified people, and when you speak, you want to have composure and confidence. You don't want to get up there and look sheepish. So we will talk about ways to do that. This has been the Screencast, and I hope that this is helpful for you as we continue to do our class.